Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Michael, Austin, and I are finally back for Australian Survivor Redemption. Unfortunately, we have to move on without JLP, but we are here with the Golden God. We're here with 4 returning players. We're here with some interesting newbies. So, what are your guys' thoughts going into this? We're about to draft teams for this cast, but what do you guys think?
Should the sandwich in the middle go first?
Yeah, Michael, you can go with the sandwich.
I will say this. I'm excited to see this crew go out. I'm always excited, so I guess that's just a niche thing I say. But with this crew, there's I was saying this before we recorded, there's a little bit of people who, are related to individuals, people who've played on other shows. We have returnees, we have super fans. This is just an interesting grab. So I'm already invested in a weird way. Last season I wasn't this type of invested, but this will just be an interesting group, and I'm curious to see if there's certain themes that go along with redemption on this season.
You brought up, Austin, before we hit record of could we see Redemption Island back? I think or both of you brought it up. I think it's a very interesting thing of we really could get something to go with that, because the theme of redemption and people from other shows and returnees and a lot of things that, and we've seen Australian Survivor do Battlebacks and Redemption Island before, and they're not limbs, so it's very, very possible.
Have we ever seen a full redemption on Australian Survivor, how the US has done, where
no, it's just been the one round, because it's been both the champions versus contenders, and then Haley won it in Brains versus Brawn, which allowed her to win the game. So
maybe we see it. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and then Blood versus Water, but everybody forgets that Blood versus Water did that. So Michael, what are your thoughts?
I hadn't really considered the possibility of Redemption Island, which is, I don't know, maybe stupid considering the theme is called Redemption. I didn't make the connection in my head somehow, but I'd love that, because with returning cast seasons, I'm excited, but some returning players, I'm always excited, but I'm also nervous. Just that there's 4 of them, not that I'm not excited about all 4. Right. But I always get excited about them coming back, and then if they go early, it's just disappointing. So I'll take anything that could give those returning players a bit of a life raft. So maybe redemption, and that would be a fun way to get rid of the awkwardness of the non-eliminations. If you could tie it into a Redemption Island style thing.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited about this season. I think obviously losing JLP sucked, but I do think David is a good choice. And seeing little clips of him, I do think he could do a good job, and I do think the cast seems really fun. So I really just want the season to do well. We need it to be a success, because for whatever we feel about what happened with JLP, we don't want to lose Australian Survivor. We don't want to go down to just Survivor US as the carrying the torch, as it were, for the franchise.
Australian Survivors has been so good that we wouldn't want to lose it at this point, because it's often looked at as the best version of Survivor, and it has been for quite a few years now. It's just for me, David, I definitely think he's going off of, but how Jeff and JLP have done things, especially JLP, but JLP started that way too. I do realize that season 1 he was just kind of going off of Jeff Probst and basically, going through the motions, and then he found himself. So David could absolutely do the same thing. It's just different because we've never, as you said, Michael, we've never seen someone go from player to host. So
I do think that's going to be an interesting new dynamic for a host to have. Having someone out there hosting that knows firsthand what it's like and what the players are going through. He could have more of an insight and more interesting lines of inquiry at Tribal Council, in terms of he's been there, he's done it, he's won. He knows what it takes to make it to the end and win. So I do think he'll do a good job. I'm manifesting a good season. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. No, I'm interested. What were you going to say, Austin?
The only thing I want to comment is Michael threw a tidbit on this short topic, but coming with like the short like amount of returnees, I think my only big flag out of the gate, it can definitely change depending on how the season goes, but I am usually not a fan of very limited returnees versus a large majority of newbies / like people who've never played Survivor. And mostly I just feel like they might get targeted off the bat, or they're just screwed, you know what I mean, out of the gate. So
right.
I mean, we've seen it kind of with this that was it Heroes versus Villains?
Yeah, half and half basically.
Kinda. I mean, let's be honest, the newbies did get murdered at the start, but like at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm trying to stay optimistic about.
Right.
You know, the only being 4 Survivor returnees, and I think they'll do their best. Like they have to play hard out of the gate. So,
one thing I'll say, Champions vs Contenders 2, which you're watching for the first time right now, Austin. Hey, there was only one returning player on that season, and he did pretty good.
He's still in it.
Who knows?
Yeah,
well, that's also true too. Like sometimes returnees can, you know. Again, I'm staying optimistic to seeing that in the season. So,
I mean, there was a time in U.S. Survivor when they had limited returnees. One always made it to the final tribal council, whether they won or lost, but they still made it there. And that was a crazy fact for a long time until season 38. So,
the greatest of all time coach.
The legend himself.
Yeah, it's the Dragon Slayer. All right, well, let's get to the draft, what everybody is here to see. So we did determine the order. And so Michael is first, Austin is second, the sandwich in the middle, and I am last. So we are going to do the snake draft, and we're just going to go from either tribe this season. So we could go either way, but we're going to try to pick 4 men and 4 women per tribe, or per team for our draft teams. So with that being said, you guys ready to get into it?
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, Michael, you are up first. You have all 24 to pick from. I feel like I know who you're picking, but you could very well surprise us.
I'm a surprising guy. You never know. I think that, look, I don't have any real hope. A little bit of hope. A little 1%, maybe. Maybe my favorite player of all time can make it to the end and win. But Harry's back for the first time since All Stars.
Yes.
I'm up first. I can't risk anyone coming in, picking him just because you want to screw me over. So I'm going to choose Harry. Like, I know for a fact that's the only reason you'd pick him, just to get the reaction of me being pissed off. So I'm going to pick him before you get the chance to screw me. I'm picking Dirty Harry. I'm so excited Harry's back. I'm very nervous based on the previews. It looks like he's coming in hot. He's playing hard. And I do have a horrible sinking feeling that he's going to be targeted very early. But please, Harry, we're rooting for you. Well, I am.
Yeah. Our as we said in our most recent teaser, we showed, Dirty Harry was our first Survivor interview that Michael and I ever did on this channel.
Yeah, good old Harry.
In general, my first ever interview on here, and it was so awesome for it to be Harry, and like he had so much good insight from his time playing Survivor, and I'm beyond excited to watch Harry play again. So like I knew you were going to take Harry as soon as you could if he wasn't already picked, and I think I have the highest hopes for Harry out of the 4 attorneys, but I don't necessarily I don't necessarily know that he's going to do the best. I think one of the other returnees is going to do the best out of the 4, but I do really want Harry to do well. Awesome. Austin, any thoughts on Harry?
It's hard with Harry because I'm watching his current season. I'm pretty sure his first one. So I actually don't even know, like I'm not at the point yet where I feel like he's done like his, the juice of his game. So I don't know yet.
You've met Harry, but you haven't necessarily met Dirty Harry.
Right. Yeah. Yes. I haven't met the Dirty Harry yet.
Yeah. Or Oscar Hudson Hills.
Yeah. But I just don't remember All Stars very well, so I just don't remember Harry as much. But I am excited to see him just based off of what I'm seeing so far in the season. Was it season 4, Champions vs. Contenders 2? I mean, he's a very energetic, like very out there guy. Like those are type of people that I like to watch play Survivor. Like you can tell I already can tell he's like getting ready to make moves and make like, tons of connections. So I think like I'm kind of on the Jake side of like I can see him doing really well in a season like this just because he seems like that type of guy. Whereas people like Simon might struggle just because he's like very, elusive and goofy and, maybe not as serious taken. But at the end of the day, like I'm excited to see Harry.
Yeah. We can hope for the best for Harry here. All right, so 3 returnees left, all the newbies still left on the board. Austin, are you going to take a returnee or are you going to go with a new player?
Yeah, so if I was the first pick, I was going to pick this person. So I personally think my pick I'm going to take here is quite honestly probably one of my favorites. They fit my category for people I tend to fancy on these shows.
Oh no!
And I just keep thinking back to how I think certain people can get far on this type of season if like my theories are right, like redemption and blah blah blah. I feel like Brooke could be a really great player on this season, so I am going to be taking Brooke.
Yeah, Brooke was the person I was referring to when I said I think she's going to be the best highest placing of the returnees. Like I just don't see Brooke going pre-merge. She's so good at challenges. She's not like in your face about like moves or anything, and she's social and likable. Like I just don't really see any reason to get rid of her unless the newbies really plant a big blindside on Brooke.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what Brooke has to offer for a third time because she is an insanely good player.
I will say one last thing. She's on a tribe with a lot of the other like people that are probably gonna get talked up more, like the Matt Rogers connection is on that tribe.
Yes.
Traders connections on that tribe. The Big Brother like I could see it working out for Brooke.
Yeah, as you mentioned, like the Matt Rogers connection of like she played on a tribe with Matt Rogers and All Stars, so she can absolutely connect to Don, for example. Obviously, we'll talk about Don later when he comes up, but yeah.
I will say she was trying to get rid of Matt Rogers, so maybe maybe that wouldn't work out so well. But yeah, I do think Brooke is like maybe one of the most consistently good Survivor players. She's played twice. She's made it very late into the game both times. She would have won All Stars. Sorry, Golden God, if she wins that last challenge. And yeah, I just think the only way that Brooke gets screwed over is if people see her as someone that you can't take to merge because they're going to become such a big threat. They're a big asset that becomes a big threat. So it's whether they start to look at her in the kind of tribe swap period of maybe we should get her out before she starts dominating those individual immunity challenges. I hope not. I hate when people start doing that because outside of Kaylin, no one wins that many in a row, even the biggest challenge beasts like of all time.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping she skates through and people aren't too worried about her, but I could see Brooke making it really far.
Yeah. I mean, Kaylin, it's like you never thought he was going to win 6 challenges. So, yeah, I could definitely see Brooke because isn't she tied for the record for women in the world at this point? Because I think women have historically won 4 immunities. So I think Brooke is tied with that. All right. So it's a snake draft. So I get 2 in a row, one at a time here. I need a returnee. We got 2 left. I heard Mike Bloom refer to this guy as a himbo. He is the second person that we have talked to on this podcast. Let's go Simon Me. I just think he's the lovable idiot. Like we all love Simon. I immediately liked him in Brains versus Brawn because I thought he was also like he was playing too hard, but he was trying to like control the Brawn tribe initially. Like he immediately tries to make a move on Shannon in that season, which it backfires completely. And then obviously he is going to go out with 2 idols in his pocket, and then heroes versus villains, George just keeps getting the better of him. But like, again, Simon's an asset in the challenges. So I think that's going to help out on a tribe that I don't think this cast looks like it's like the most like physically built tribe as we've seen in past seasons. So someone like Simon is going to be super helpful early on. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody is going to perceive Simon as a threat because they're going to see him as the lovable idiot. Like, I just don't. I mean, yes, returning player could put a target on his back anyway, but is anybody really going to go in here and be like, man, Simon is such a good player? Like, I think that's exactly what he wants to. So,
I think of all the returning players, maybe Mark, because we've never seen him play for a second time. But like, I think Simon's the one that I'm most interested in seeing back, because this is his 3rd time playing the game, but this is the first time Simon is playing the game without the specter of the cockroach of Bankstown
yes,
in his ear. And like, George became such an obsession for Simon where he just couldn't let the guy go. He had so many hang-ups about George, and he made some really bad decisions because of his tunnel vision when it came to George.
Right.
George isn't there. What does Simon look like as a player without this guy that he's so focused on? And I think Simon is a really smart player. He's had some rotten luck. He's had some terrible times in failing to get alliances going, but I do think he's a good player, and I think he'll have learned from those mistakes. So I do think there's something in Simon where he can come into this season because of the edit that he got in Heroes versus Villains.
Mm-hmm.
Of all the returning players, I think he comes in with the lowest threat level of people looking at him as someone that's a real big threat to make it to the end and win. Like, so he might be able to, of all the returning players, get rid of that target on his back just because he's a returning player and actually make good connections and play a really good game. I really want Simon to play a good game, because the edit that he got in Heroes versus Villains, I don't think there's many players that would take that on the chin and take it in such good humor and roll with it. Simon did. He got an edit that made him look like a fool so many times, leaving in like lines where he messed up rather than just taking the retake. Like, that never happened. They don't do that to players. They did it to Simon, the cookie idol. So many times he was laughed at by the edit, and he took it in stride, and he's great. I really want to have a good, solid game, and I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching both the players that we've interviewed. And Simon, as you said, Michael, he took it in great jest. Even when we interviewed him, like, he was super was joking about it the entire time. So
yeah,
how much of an idiot
he
he
takes
was.
it seriously. I think that's like a really good quality in someone. If you don't take yourself too seriously, I think it's a good way to be, and Simon seems to have that.
Yeah. Austin, your thoughts on Simon?
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of say it perfectly. This is like someone who could absolutely, as a returnee, come in and almost facade back into the backdrop. Like, nobody even knows he's around if he just does it correctly. I definitely give him a ton of credit, because a lot of people would not be able to take like the type of edit you guys are explaining. Like, they might get really anxious about it afterwards. They're really upset, but like, there's a reason he's on this season, and it's because of the constant L's he's had in his 2 seasons, and this is his chance to make up for all that and kind of freshen his resume a bit. So I'm definitely
excited. It's his chance for redemption.
Yeah, for sure. Agree with you guys. So that is 3 of the 4 returning players. All the 3-time players are off the board. So we'll see which of us picks up the last returning player.
Well, you could. You got another pick.
I could, but I think I want to go into the newbies, because I do want to go with someone that I've had my eye on. I think we kind of all went with crushes last.
I know who it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lyndall. I think she kind of reminds me of Kate in Brains versus Brawn 2, where Kate made it all the way to Final 5, played a really strong social game. I could see Lindell as like the Kate type, and nobody's really going to see her as a threat till it gets to the end game.
Okay, maybe she turns into that Candy that goes first boot, and
That's where I went wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean, I feel like it's a double-edged sword at the end of the day with like when you're excessively like attractive on these seasons, like some people usually can take it one way as like, oh, I don't want them around because they're so like gonna be, drooled over and like
Brandon
fancied and like brought and dragged to the end. Or they're, strategic and they have some brains to them and they use it as a facade mechanism. Like, I'm always excited to see the model like Archetype play. Like they can either shock you or kind of bring it back to what we've seen in like that Kageon season of the typical good looking individuals.
Yeah, where they're talking about what came first, the chicken or the egg. So they literally have
Hey, that's a debate that's been going for years. It's an interesting topic. Lindell was very high on my non-returning cast players. I do think she has real potential to survive the early game. I think especially in Australian Survivor where it's such a long game, if you've got the potential to just get through that initial onslaught, like those first few weeks in a good position, then you're really set up well. And I think she could do that, kind of fly under the radar, make good social connections, and just get through to merge, and then from there hopefully have the connections to make it deep into the game. I could definitely see her doing well. And there's not much. When I was reading her thing, I didn't see too much. I don't know if she's like a super fan or maybe just there for the experience. She was talking about how she just wanted to push herself, and that was kind of her driving force. But often you see those players that are there for that reason. They learn on the fly and they really pick up the game. And I think she could be a very good player that doesn't initially look like they're going to be a big threat. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, Lindell's still here. And then you're writing her the check.
Yeah. And we'll see how she does. Could go either way. But I think she's definitely more in that Kate camp. All right, so Austin, your second pick.
So there's a few. I am gonna go newbie also. I'm gonna let Mark float a little longer. There's a few choices for me here. I have two people that I really like on a strategic side of things where I think they have the attributes to go far. And then there's, I have a list of people who I just really, really like based on my vibe as an individual and who I usually tend to follow. And I think I'm going to right off the gate go with someone off that list just because this is something I'm been very invested into recently. And I'm going to go in with Cameron Q. Cameron is an MMA fighter and I'm insanely into MMA right now. I even looked him up. I will not say his record out loud because he's probably not, proud of it. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, he works with youth. Like I see a lot of me almost with this guy. Like he's very sporty. He works with younger, not entirely athletes, but with youth in general, youth groups. I think he could be. He could be a pretty good player, I think, but I'm mostly picking him because of his MMA background. So,
yeah, I think he's a good pick. Again, someone that is probably going to be a physical asset. He's on the same tribe as Simon. Like, I think, again, this is another guy you're going to want to keep around in the early going. I think that's important. I think he maybe seems like he's pretty chill. So I could see him kind of just going through and being like the asset that his tribe needs and not needing to like come out and make all these flashy moves right away because other people are going to do it. So,
yeah.
I think definitely like a curious player, especially those really physical players. Like with Brooke, like we discussed, like definitely an asset, and Simon, an asset to the tribe. I'm always curious about those players, about what they bring beyond that. But so often you see with the physical players that that is their thing, and that's all they really do. They bring the physical, but strategically they're not as sound. And then every now and then you get a Kaelin who comes along who, plays the golden retriever and manages to actually be a really solid, underrated. Kaelin is criminally underrated. Survivor player. And like, could he go down that route? Does he have like the strategic and social chops as well to bring it all together? So yeah, I think someone that's definitely not going to be targeted early. So again, puts him in that camp of can get through the initial few weeks and then maybe be in a good position.
Yeah. All right. So Michael, it is now your second pick and then your third pick.
Oh, perfect. Yes. I was deciding which one to pick, but I can pick both.
Yeah, perfect. That's
true. So I'm not going to pick Mark. Spoiler alert. See, I love Mark. But I think he's so recent and he was so good. Like, I think he's going to be in trouble. I'm going to pick Johnson. So
Ooh.
Big Brother Australia is kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine. I love Big Brother Australia. And Johnson was on Big Brother Australia. And for the vast majority of Big Brother Australia, it was kind of like the UK version of the game where it was just a popularity contest. The season that Johnson was on was more in line with the US version of Big Brother, where it's about alliances, it's about building social connections and playing the game kind of like Survivor. So I do think he has experience, and he made it to runner-up in that season. Spoiler alert, if anyone wanted to watch Big Brother Australia. He made it all the way to runner-up and was good strategically. So I think he's coming in with the same kind of level of understanding of how these games work as the returnees, but without the target of being a returnee. So I think that could be a real asset to him. We do see from previews that it seems like he might be under fire quite early, but hopefully he can get through that. And yeah, I'm going to pick Johnson.
Yeah, I think that's another good pick. Although, yeah, he could be under fire pretty quickly, especially if people have watched that Big Brother season. So I'm wary that he could be a target, but also Johnson seems like the type of player with that experience that he knows how to get out of it. So we've literally seen like Miles literally was a target the entire game and still made it to the end and won. So it's very possible to do that. So Austin?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of when someone from a different show plays a different show. Mm-hmm. And in this, circumstance, someone's playing a show like Big Brother and coming to Survivor. I mean, we rarely see that. I think we've only seen it once or twice, like ever. So
Caleb, right?
Yeah, and then Hayden, right?
Yep, Hayden. Yep.
Yeah,
Hayden won Big Brother and then came on.
Yeah.
And so Natalie and Nadia, Amazing Race and Survivor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also true. So like the track record's pretty good. I mean, give or take, Caleb probably would have done way better, obviously, if he wasn't evacuated. But right. Johnson, from what I was reading a little bit and just kind of the insight I'm getting from him, like specifically coming from Big Brother also, like he probably is walking in here almost as experienced as like a Survivor person coming in, like probably had the same, thought process coming in, same type of notes. Like he's going to be ready. And like, that's a great pick. He was on my board for like at the top of my like strategic picks. I'm excited to see him play like this game of Survivor.
Yeah, I agree completely. All right, Michael, your third pick.
Well, you mentioned being drawn to people that have played other shows. Well, I'm taking them both. I'm going to go with Kat. She played in The Traitors New Zealand and made it very deep. And I do think, kind of the same as Johnson, there's something that unless you've done a show like this, that you can't know until you've done it. And just being a part of a production, it gives you a certain understanding and a kind of the rhythm of how these things go, that it's obviously not the same game, but she could bring that experience of being a Traitors player into Survivor, and I think she has potential to, again, be a good social player. She's made it far into the game. She can make those social connections. I think Kat's someone that can maybe not be a early target, be someone that flies under the radar. I think Kat's one of the most interesting players of the non-returnees that I was looking at when I looked at the list. Can you hear the ice cream van that just...
Yeah,
I literally did.
What ice cream? What time is it here? It's 7 o'clock at night. Why is it an ice cream van? That's definitely a front. They're definitely pushing drugs.
Is that Harry?
It's Harry. Hi, Harry.
Yeah, but Kat, I mean, if she did really well as a faithful on Traders, that bodes well for someone that can be really trustworthy, and like people are gonna want to work with her. So I can see Kat at least making it through like the early game, at least maybe to a swap. But I think at that point it's gonna kind of depend if she can make some moves and kind of solidify herself and make these tight connections. Austin?
Yeah. I don't want to mimic most of what I said already because I feel like a lot of it relates to Kat here. I like to mention this though. Everyone's first time, you are definitely going to be a little more nervous. There is so much production that happens to a person with huge $1,000 cameras pointed like centimeters in your face. Like these confessionals can get overwhelming. Kat's coming in experiencing that. You know what I mean? So she's already going to be more comfortable than most of these, the cast. She could be fun to see. I definitely think Traders is slightly, a different type of environment versus Johnson with Big Brother. So that's going to be interesting to see how, they both come in and do their thing. I think she's the first, person from Traders coming into a Survivor. So that's also really fun. I mean, we're going to see that, right? Like this is a person with, straight up Traders mindset coming into Survivor. Like I'm kind of excited to see that. So yeah I'm hoping she does well. Hopefully she's not just targeted off the bat because of Traders.
Right. Well, her and Johnson are on the
it's
same
not
track.
Australian Traders. So there's a good chance because it's New Zealand Traders that maybe nobody knows that she is a former Traders player, and I'm assuming she would want to keep that secret if people don't know about it. So I think she's coming in with the experience without necessarily it being something that's flagged up by the other players. So I do think that's something she could maybe fly under the radar with.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Michael. I was just gonna say, her and Johnson are on the same tribe, so
interesting.
Yeah, so that should be interesting.
That tribe is gonna be so interesting. Sorry, Jake. Like, if you just think about how many shields you can like use on that tribe if everything goes a certain way. Like these newbies could literally be like, bro, there's like Big Brother, Traders, person that knows Matt Rogers, these literal survivors. Like, it could get so interesting. Like, I don't even know. I'm like excited for this tribe, like more than the other tribe almost.
Yeah, 100% agree. Well, Austin, it is your third pick.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Do I just rip my Band-Aid off of the person I really want? Okay. Yeah. So I took a look at everyone, and this person hit me in the face for like the person I actually think could win. The profession cracks me up, and it's gonna be a real big like it. You know what I mean? Like either early or like long term, depending on the person. I'm going with this Caleb guy, the truck driver.
Yeah.
I think like truck drivers, like, and I know some truck drivers. They are some interesting characters, man. But this dude is into like saving animals. He seems like genuine as shit. Like he wants to open up a shelter if he wins for animals. I'm like, this dude is gonna come in as a truck driver and like completely be like not the truck driver vibe. You know what I mean? Like he's tatted up the gazoo everywhere. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I keep looking at this Caleb dude. I'm like, I fuck with him, and I hope he doesn't get shot, quickly off the show. Like, I hope he goes and makes a run for it. He looks like he also looks like the pretty boy like type guy, where like the girls might be like, oh, he's a good looking dude, like, oh, he's sweet, handsome. Like I don't know, I'm kind of getting a lot of good vibes from this dude, so I'm going with Caleb.
Yeah, I saw his promo, and like I was interested once I saw that promo of him like explaining like being a truck driver and all that. And I was like, yeah, he looks like he's built like the pretty boy, like you said, Austin, but I don't know, his attitude didn't really give that at all. So maybe that's a good thing because he can kind of relate to other people. So yeah, I think that's a pretty solid pick off the board. So
I didn't know about the animal conservation and wanting to open a shelter. Now I want him to win. he's got a new fan.
Yeah,
that's all it took.
I'm looking forward to seeing how Caleb does for sure. So, all right. So then I get 2 back-to-back picks, and we've heard of the Godfather. Maybe now it's time we hear of the Don. So I'm gonna go Don Rogers, and like again. He's brothers with Matt Rogers, who is one of my favorites from Australian Survivor. I think that Don it seems like he's probably looking for redemption because he's been in his brother's shadow for years now, watching his brother play twice. And I'm interested in how that will go. I feel like Don seems pretty chill from the promos and whatnot. So I honestly don't really see him going super, super early. I think a spot where he could be in trouble is like maybe right before the merge, because I feel like we've seen some like really chill physical players also get clipped right before. Like I'm thinking Croc and Blood versus Water, like someone that should have probably made merge. And like
of all the players, I love that your go-to like clip just before the merge is Croc. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't thought about Croc since whenever the last time we talked about Blood versus Water was. I forgot about Croc.
Like 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the few Croc mentions you'll get in 2026. But
Poor Croc.
I'll take this opportunity to also mention Juicy Dave. Get that mention in.
Oh my God. What are your guys' thoughts on Don?
I mean, I'll be short and sweet because I don't remember too much from Matt, unfortunately. But like, Don himself seems like he could be a fun, like, older component person of the tribe, because this tribe's already going to be interesting. So maybe he brings the older wisdom guy like to the tribe, or maybe he brings like the funny uncle type vibe to the tribe. Like, I think he could do well right off the gate, just because of how interesting it could get on this tribe. And if it goes completely different than what I think, I mean, he could be in trouble right off the bat. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah, for sure. Michael?
Is Don known all in terms of like, does he have a profile of his own, or is he like Matt's unknown brother?
I don't know that.
See that real quick.
Well, you look that up because that was my kind of. I don't know if that's something that
he's a country musician.
Oh, okay.
So
potentially people know who he is.
Potentially.
My biggest worry with Don is his brother has played twice and does have a reputation in terms of being the Godfather, being this really great and fun player. Whether he tries to come in and play the same style of game as Matt Rogers and try to almost like outdo what Matt did, as opposed to just play his own game, and that maybe could be something that rubs people up the wrong way and puts a target on his back. So I'm curious to see how he plays, and hopefully, as much as I love Matt Rogers, I'd love for him to be. Isn't it funny how like some players you have to say their last name?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. Like, I would never just call him Matt. It's Matt Rogers.
We've seen so many Matts on Survivor. So.
Yeah, but he's a one-team Matt. That's rare.
Yeah. Yes.
I do think. I hope he comes in and plays his own game and doesn't just try to be, the Godfather 2.0 or the Donfather, as you say, and because that's something production will push him to try and be.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether he just plays his own game or kind of bows to the pressure of production being like, hey, you're Matt Rogers' brother, are you going to be the Don father?
Yeah, the big thing for Don is going to be the reason Matt got into trouble so much in his 2 seasons is he always came off as the leader. And so people were ready to take the shot at him both seasons. and then they were able to get him out. So like I could definitely see him getting targeted because of that eventually. So all right, and then my other pick, I think this guy looks like he is one of us. I think he's an Orger. One of our other mods in our Survivor Vanquish mod chat mentioned that he was an Orger, so I'm gonna go Tez.
You little rat. You little rat.
He just reminds me of us, like the nerdy guy who again plays orgs. Like, so I am looking forward to seeing Tez play. Obviously, I've never played an org with him myself, so I don't really know, going off of just information that I've heard elsewhere from our mod chat about him. So,
I mean, I'm a little afraid for Tez. Tez was a little lower on my list. I don't think I would have personally picked Tez just because I almost feel like Tez is going to be like very overplay type person. Tez just seems very out there, like very, spontaneous. I almost just fear that people would get scared pretty quick of Tez. But again, Tez could absolutely change my mind after an episode. So excited to see the energy from Tez.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael?
Yeah, the one note I wrote about him was he's been a fan since he was 6 years old. I don't know how old he is now. That might not have been that long ago, but
he's 24.
Okay, yeah, depressing. Yeah, never mind. So yeah, these superfan players often can blow themselves up and come in hot and it not work out, and then every now and then you get a Miles, someone who's gonna put it all together and be a great player. So I'm curious. Tez was one of the first time players that I was most curious about, and he was pretty high on my list in terms of the male players. So yeah, I could see him doing well. Also, this is a unique season in that there's a lot of distractions. So oftentimes the big super fans can get themselves in danger, but it's because they're the highest blade of grass within that tribe.
Yeah.
In this season, there's always going to be a bigger target in that early game with all these returnees. So maybe he can slide under a little bit despite being the major super fan.
Yeah. 100%.
That's a good point, actually. I didn't really think of it like that. And Tez is on the tribe that I'm very interested for. So, I mean, yes. Tez could blend in on that type of tribe.
Yeah.
I think he definitely could. All right, so Austin, your fourth pick.
Yeah, this one's tough. I'm gonna pick this person because they kind of, like, if I was in this game, they'd almost scare me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. So like, that's not like the greatest flag for me. Like, I could see them being a little, like if they come out and about the wrong way, they could definitely be struck. Like, it's like someone as a threat off the bat, but. I'm picking Eliza here, the writer.
Yeah.
Writers are just, the storytelling type person is an interesting player for me most of the time because they're very, strong about what they say. They're usually very, what's the word I'm looking for? They like to command what they say to others, and sometimes it can come off differently to, other people. Eliza's, I guess in her bios, she's been very speak heavy her whole life and has written a lot, obviously. So at the end of the day, I think she could have some pretty good strategic, components to her game. And I've been excited to see her play ever since I was looking her up. So I'll pick her.
Yeah, I think that's a really good pick, honestly, that slid to this point. I can relate being a writer because I went to school for journalism, and so I really like that about her and being a storyteller, and I think that probably bodes well for her airtime because any survivor definitely wants someone who can tell a story and talk in the confessionals. So I'm sure because of that she probably can, but who knows, they could also not give her an edit for whatever reason. So yeah, I feel like she probably, as long as she can get in a good alliance, good connections right away, she probably is going to make it far.
Yeah, being a writer, director, performer, she's someone that naturally you would think is going to be able to make good social connections. I think she could be a really strong social player. So yeah, she was one of my highest, like, up there female players in terms of people I think could do really well. Yeah, I think that's a really solid pick.
All right, Michael, your fourth and then your fifth pick.
You know what? I'm not doing this anymore. This is I don't care. The content needs to happen. The fact that Mark has still not been picked, I think, is disrespectful to a fantastic Survivor player. So screw it. I'm taking 2 returnees on my list. I think, you know, Mark is the dolphin. He's the invisible hand. What did they call? Was it the invisible hand?
Yeah, it was the invisible hand. Yeah.
You know, he was great, and he made it all the way to final 3. I do think he has an issue in terms of being a very recent player who played a great game. So maybe he has that target on his back. But I can't just sit here watching this list go down and put a little Mark with the last returning player picked. It's not right. So I'm going to choose him.
Yeah, I will say to that, like, Titans versus Rebels is one of my favorite Survivor seasons of any version. Yeah. Like, that game was so entertaining to watch. Mark was a huge part of that, especially pre-merge. And he still made it to final 3. As you said, Michael, I think that's going to put a target on his back. Being a recent beloved Survivor season, we've seen a lot of people get targeted for being on seasons like those going into a tourney game. So I'm concerned for Mark that he's not going to make it out of the pre-merge this season. Yeah, Austin.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the words. Yeah, definitely no disrespect to Mark for falling this far down. I think we all have said basically we're just a little afraid for the longevity.
Yeah.
And I agree wholeheartedly. That's why I did not pick him earlier. Right. You know, I try to pick my team around the basis of, can they hit the long, game? Do I enjoy them 100%? And I do enjoy you, Mark. You were probably one of my favorite players actually on the season you played on, but yeah, at the end of the day, it looks a little rough, just from my POV, from ours probably also. But I'm excited to see you, Mark, and I really hope you do well. Like, I really do.
Yeah, I mean, being a diplomat makes you really, really interesting in a game of Survivor. Like, so I'm interested to see Mark's game again. I definitely want to see more of his pre-merge game from Titans versus Rebels, like, more of the time. Because, as I said, I do, not that his post-merge was bad, but he kind of fell to the side because, like, the post-merge at that point is focused on Kirby and Ferris. Like, so unfortunately, he didn't get as much airtime.
I mean, unfortunately, my record on these drafts is not good, so I think me picking him is more of a curse than anything, unfortunately, so I apologize, Mark. For my second pick, I'm so glad this person didn't get picked because I was excited, but I thought maybe I could sneak them by. As well as being a huge Survivor fan, I'm also a huge fan of professional wrestling. And we have another professional wrestler on the cast, following in the footsteps of Grayson Waller, current WWE superstar. We have Jackson, who's professional wrestler Scott Green, who isn't a wrestler I've heard of, but based on the clips I've seen of him, I think he's going to have that personality, be able to build those social connections. He's obviously good physically. I think he's someone that does have the potential to kind of pull it all together and be at least an entertaining Survivor player, if not a Survivor winner.
Yeah, I one of my favorite pre-merge characters is Grayson Waller in Champions versus Contenders 2 because he was so entertaining. I assume Jackson might follow in the footsteps, as you said, and also be an entertaining character, but he also has to have that edge as a player that I don't think Grayson ended up necessarily having, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing because he also kind of got swap screwed and was just getting picked off. So
is he on the tribe with Harry?
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that, but Harry's also a big wrestling fan. He has that connection with Grayson Waller, so maybe I like the fact that we don't even call him by his real name anymore. It's just Grayson Waller. So maybe like Harry and Jackson could be a fun duo. I'm excited.
No, I'm very excited for Jackson. He was very high on my list, if not probably the next person I was about to take. So good steal. Yeah, I like the entertaining players. Like I'm a huge Tony fan, and I already kind of get like not in the professional wrestler way vibe, but like the very out and about and fun and just like there for great vibes type guy. I feel like he could be a good like a little better than like I don't want to. I'll just do it. I've been comparing him to like Kalen in a little bit, like from last season. Like I feel like he could be that challenge dude, bro, that everyone just loves. I could definitely see him going far. I think that's a really good pick, Jackson.
Yeah, it is. He is. So Michael, you have no more men that you can pick.
I was aware, but I was hoping that maybe you guys wouldn't notice. Because now I've limited.
I won't be too stingy personally on that.
I know who I'm going for, and I'm feeling optimistic that they won't get picked.
Yeah. All right, Austin, your 5th pick.
Yeah. Well, I had a feeling you were gonna take him, so I started looking at other options. Okay, I'm gonna do it. So this is an archetype I really enjoy. Not just in Survivor, but outside of Survivor. I'm a big foodie. I love my cooking shows, and we have a chef on this season, and I'm gonna pick Faith. Chefs are usually crazy in a way. I feel like Faith might bring some crazy chef energy. Sometimes it's probably not the best in Survivor, that type of energy. Can get you red flagged pretty quick, but Faith's on a very interesting tribe. So I really think either she'll be a big red target or she's going to come in and kind of go with the flow. And I'm really excited to see her. So I really wanted her on my team. So 100% putting Faith on Folk the Goat's team.
Yeah, Faith is an interesting pick. I kind of found her to have a really interesting energy from like the clips I've seen in the promos and everything. So I'm very interested to see how she does. Again, we know that kind of peculiar energy or maybe not like the normal type of energy that maybe you would get from someone. Sometimes those people can do really well. We literally had Christy Bennett win the first season, so like it's not at all a bad thing. So I'm interested to see how she does.
And I didn't expect Blood versus Water to come up so much during this draft, but being a chef like is an asset, and we saw Khan be very successful in that pre-merge of Blood versus Water in terms of just providing for the camp in a way that other people can't. So yeah, I think especially in the early game when people are hungry and they're adapting, like having a chef in camp is a good thing, and she could kind of fly under the radar as long as she doesn't go like super outwardly strategic like Khan did and put a big target on her back. I could see her making it far.
Yeah. So interested to see how she does. So now it is my 5th and 6th picks. And I have 3 men and 1 woman. I should probably add a woman here. Let's see. I think that I am going to pick Paula. She is the emergency and critical care vet nurse. So she says she's dealt with members of parliament. So this is very, very interesting. She's dealt with some politicians in Congress, and could be very interesting. Again, negotiation skills. And is she on the same tribe as Mark? She is not. She is on the opposite tribe. I was going to say, if you put her and Mark together, I wonder how the diplomat and her would get along. So I don't know. I find that really interesting. Again, a woman with kind of the skill sets that Mark has could be really, really fun. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing how Paula does.
We've seen a political operator do quite well in Survivor Australia in the past, in our glorious king. So yeah, maybe she's got what it takes. Is she on the same tribe as, who was your guy that did the animal wants the animal shelter.
Caleb.
Caleb, no.
No.
Oh, that
Caleb's
would have
in
been a
tribe
fun.
with Mark.
Obviously, she's a vet, so that would have been
Yes.
maybe like a fun connection they could have had, and maybe they will come
Swap.
some kind of swap or merge. So yeah, good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
She seems pretty spicy, like someone who could come and have some good, energy on the game, but also a little maybe a little villainous. I don't know. She's giving me that type vibe, and I'm excited for it. So I want to see it.
Yep. All right, 6th pick then. Interesting. I think I'm going to take my final male pick. I am going to take Richard. And so Richard is, I believe he's the actor, or no, he's the CEO. He was like quoting Shakespeare in the promos, which is why I thought, so he works in corporate strategy and investment banking and now works as a CEO. So I don't know. I just found him interesting because he was like, he was quoting Shakespeare in his preseason. I was like, oh, this guy's interesting. So I don't know. I feel like this is a guy that could definitely be seen as like strategic and shifty. But I also think that's going to make him really, really interesting to watch, to see how he interacts with people. So I think out of the guys left on the board, I think he's probably the next best pick. So
yeah, I always am interested in the CEO type character. Like, I just always go back to the first season I ever watched fully, and it was the Kagayan one where the is it the Marlins CEO goes out right away.
David Sampson, yes.
Yeah, I'm forgetting what team he was represented, but
he was the Marlins. Yeah,
it was. Gotcha. Yeah. But I'm always like CEO and like Survivor. You almost gotta like kill like the CEO threat like right off the bat. You gotta like walk in with a different aspect. Like you gotta put your shoes on like everyone else. You gotta be at the same level of seeing how things go. Because as a CEO, you're like you might have a high ego. You might have a high like a very low tolerance to like bullshit. Like you almost gotta like adapt back to reality almost because you're going out on an island with 24 people who are on the same level as everyone else, and sometimes it can be hard. So I'm really interested to see what he does.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. My first thought of Richard was he's given Martinez from Survivor Australia, South Africa.
Oh my god!
I don't want to like anyone that chooses to go play Survivor in a blazer. Like, I think he's Martinez mixed with Kent. He's given those kind of vibes.
Oh dear, not the massive train wreck. I mean, there's someone on this season that reminds me of Nash from Brains versus Ron 2 with how the promos are highlighting him.
No.
So
I didn't have super high hopes for Richard. But I think it could be a fun implosion.
Yeah.
Or maybe he can buck the trend. Maybe he'll be like super successful and play against the type.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's probably not a good omen if like I see him and I immediately and the promos and I immediately think he's an actor. So maybe other people will think that as well and not trust him. So all right. So Austin, you have your 6th pick next.
Yeah. I mean, I literally am getting stuck with 2 dudes at this point, so I'm just gonna leave them for my last 2. I'm going with Keely for my next pick. She gives me the really nice girl vibe. I don't know. I feel like that type of archetype can do pretty well in Australian Survivor. I fear that she could be like a first boot red flag, but I think if she gets out of that, danger zone, I feel like she could do well. She seems like, from what I'm reading, she's really good under pressure. She's been in like a lot of business, the fraud business mostly for a long time. That's a pretty high stake industry. So I think if she doesn't, if she starts on the right foot, I think she could be a pretty long-term player.
Yeah, she seems like she's someone that's gonna be interesting to watch with her work experience. And yeah, she's worked in high pressure environments, such as being a crime specialist. So I mean, working in high pressure stuff, I mean, there's nothing more high pressure than Survivor. So I think that's probably gonna bode well for her because in stressful situations, she can be somebody to rely on. So
Yeah, I think she's a good pick. When I saw her job fraud prevention specialist, my first thought was Garrick. I think that was loss prevention, but I just saw the word prevention, and in my mind, that immediately means they're the same person. So I like Garrick, so maybe I like Keely.
Yeah. We also interviewed Garrick on the podcast. So
Good old Garrick.
Yeah, Garrick's cool. Yeah, good pick, Austin. All right, Michael, you get 6th and 7th picks.
So I feel like this is maybe not the best strategy because I feel like either one of these two players is going to be the first boot. We see in the promo that Harry is going head to head with Lottie. So I'm taking Lottie because I feel like one of those two players is going to come out on top of that and hopefully will go on a run, preferably Harry. But I do think Lottie, seeing the threat that Harry poses and going up against a player like Harry, if she can get people behind her and form a strong alliance that takes out a big player like Harry, it could set her up in terms of being in a good position in that first initial tribe and have a big move on your resume that you can say, I killed Dirty Harry and broke Michael's heart.
I'm dead.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how Lottie admits fitness and endurance isn't really her strength, which I can kind of relate. I'm not like the most jacked person myself, but like also, I mean, it's such a long game, and I don't know if telling people. I mean, we literally saw Joan in season 2 that literally tells her entire tribe that she's not good at cardio and stuff like that. Like, I don't think that's necessarily something you should advertise, because then you can get targeted right away. So a bit nervous for Lottie, and especially if she's coming that hard at Dirty Harry immediately. That's not a good sign because we've seen Harry cut people that have gone against him rather quickly. So,
but maybe she gets the better of. I appreciate the hustle.
Yeah. Austin, thoughts on Lottie?
I appreciate Michael's draft strategy because it is like smart. If we already are pretty aware of two, head bumping right off the bat, one's most likely going to make it out of it. Lottie wasn't really on my radar for anyone I was highly trying to draft, so I'll look forward to watching her. I don't know. I don't see how being an artist and how half the things she says will be beneficial to her game. But sorry, Lottie, but yeah, I'll be interested to see. Like, she could definitely prove me wrong.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Michael, you now have your 7th pick.
Nice. I'm torn. I'm gonna go with Aisha.
Okay. Yeah.
I think she's someone again that could be very good socially, that could make those connections and fly under the radar. And because I've gone with so many kind of big, high profile players, I need some people that could potentially just fly under the radar. I don't want to be wiped out again in the pre-merge.
That's crazy. That's true.
You still had Kaylin make a comeback for you at least. Yeah, I mean, she's a support worker. She also works as a model. So I mean, I think they could help with social game again. And is she on the same tribe as Lyndall? I'm curious about that. Because that could be a connection. She is. Wow. So these two could immediately connect.
So they could be the Kate and Morgan of this season.
Yes. Yeah. That's a really good comparison. Hopefully, hopefully doesn't end tragically for both of them in that case. So,
Yeah.
all right. I mean, Austin, any thoughts on Asia?
I like her social attributes. She wasn't really that high on my list. But I did think that she's in that range where, because the next person I end up picking is also in this category. I'm hoping that they don't like be so overzealous that it's almost annoying. Kind of like how last season we had that. The name is slipping my mind. You guys might know it, but he kind of went to the pre-mer or the swap. It was just like really annoying to the women, and then got voted off.
Max.
Rich.
I just forget his name.
I think it's Rich.
I almost could see that being with Aisha.
Yeah, I could see that too, because I thought last season Rich was not going to be what he ended up being on the show, and then he ended up really irritating everybody. So we could get that from Asia for sure. All right, Austin, your 7th pick. You have to pick 2 men.
Yeah, so the description for Aisha is definitely more for this individual. I have to pick them. This was at the bottom of my list, but we'll see what happens. We're going with Ben. He's a football guy, athlete, talent lead for them now. He seems like he could be very overly enthusiastic. I don't know. The picture's already making me laugh because he's like one of those pictures where you're like laughing in it, like, you know what I mean? Like, give me a little crazy vibes. I don't know. He's gonna be interesting. He could be fun. He could be like Ben from American Survivor that we just seen recently, like just extremely lovable and like you know, character, but he could also be very annoying. Like, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm interested. I thought that you might pick Ben Austin because similar kind of interests and professions there. So I don't know. I was considering, but then I decided against Ben. But he could do some well. And sometimes that energy is really, really nice to have. But as you said, it can also get very, very annoying very, very quickly.
Yeah, my one note for Ben was Challenge Beast.
Yeah.
Will he have more than that? We will see. Again, good. I love how much we all love and respect Kalen, because he always comes up as the comparison of the perfect Challenge Beast style player. So will he be another Kalen, or will he be just kind of a one-dimensional Challenge Beast? We'll see.
I just hate that Kalen got such a bad rap like on Twitter, because I always go back to it. Sorry for taking this tangent a little too far, but like Kalen, like I appreciated Kalen's game so much as a competitor. I feel like if it wasn't Miles or AJ in that final seat next to him, I feel like he has a good chance. Like
100%. I think he wins against anyone other than them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Unfortunately, he was up against 2 people that had just played such crazy strategic games that ended up working out for them. So
Miles is literally a type of player you just can't replicate. That shit was nuts.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. All right. So 7th pick and 8th pick for me, right? So I'm done after this. So I have to pick 2 women. And the first woman, I will end up going with the clothing reseller. I'll go with Sally. I think out of the picks left for like the moms and like the women, is she a mom? I don't see that, but at least compared to like, I guess maybe how she comes off, I think she comes off better than the other like moms and women of like closer to her archetype for me. So I wanted to pick Sally because of that.
I actually liked Sally. I almost picked her, but I went with Keely instead. And I almost picked Sally because the characters who like are really yogis and like I think she's a psych person. I think I was reading like she was like went to school for that or something. Like those people can be really good at like endurance and like connecting. You know what I mean? So like Sally could be an interesting underdog for this type season. So I'm interested.
Yeah, she also lost her brother who passed away 5 years ago. So I mean, that's going to be something that she carries with her on in the game. It says so. I'm interested to kind of see that story because I will say Australian Survivor does a pretty good job at like the backstories when they put them out. So, Michael, your thoughts on Sally?
It's funny you mentioned Sally and Keely and like together because I had the same one. I wanted either one of Sally or Keely. I saw them as kind of like similar in terms of players that I wanted. I didn't end up getting either of them, but yeah, I think Sally could end up being like a solid player who, again, kind of under the radar, not going to be looked at particularly early, I don't think. So if she can get through that first portion of the game, I do think that's, for late in the draft, I do think that's a sneaky good pick.
Yeah. And then my last pick of the draft, I am between two moms. I'm between the stay-at-home mom and the acupuncturist. And I'm going to go with
acupuncture.
Yeah. So I probably just made up a word there, to be honest. All right. So we'll go Laws. We'll go the stay-at-home. I think like she was talking about how she's one with nature. She's done a lot of outdoorsy type of things. So I find that interesting for this. I mean, at least maybe if she can help around the camp, that'll benefit her more, a little more. But I could also absolutely see her going early if she isn't careful. So usually moms, either they get voted out right away or they make it to the end and lose. So
yeah, she's definitely like the goofball girl of the season. I like that though. I'm always like, as long as you're not a bad person, goofball person, like we've seen in the past, like I think she's gonna be cool. She's had a lot of losses in her life. I was reading. Yeah, she went to Tonga for a week or something. Like she seems like she could be fun, like a good fun, like someone that people want around fun. So like we'll see.
Yeah, I do like the oddballs as well. Like that's something I can connect with. So completely.
Look at what we're choosing to do with our time. We're all oddballs.
Yes.
I think Loz is someone that could potentially be a good pick in terms of just the underrated part of the game that doesn't come up in the edit a lot of. She's a really outdoorsy person, so like being good in that situation and hopefully that translates into being helpful around camp and kind of good in the outdoors. I think it's not something that's super flashy that is going to make an edit, but something that could actually endear her to her tribe mates and get her through.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so your last picks have kind of been made for you at this point based on gender, but let's move on to your last pick, Austin. So we have the pastor, we have Daniel, and the promos have been all over him. He's the guy that I thought was going to be like Nash, where he's going to overplay. The promos are featuring him because he's going to be big in the premiere and then like flame out really quickly in like episode 4 or 5.
Yeah, he was not going to be someone I picked, but obviously I have to. I didn't look too much into him. I didn't even look at the preview, so that's even funnier that he's possibly going to be a flame and then burn out real quick. I don't know. I don't really relate at all to Daniel's background. Not really interested in his like background, but he seems pretty full spirited as a survivor person. So well, let's have it, Daniel. Let's see how it goes.
So just I made a list of my preferences. Number 24 out of 24 was Pastor Daniel. What's funny, I was writing notes as I was kind of watching the promos and my first note was big potential, because the first part of his promo is I'm a pastor and translating that into lie, and I was like, ooh, this could be a fun player. And then the entire second half of the promo is him completely blowing up his game and not being great. And I was like, disregard what I just said. I feel like this guy is gonna flame out. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. You can't write someone off based just on a promo. Potentially he could come back from it, but he seems very, very kind of all over the place, and put a huge target on his back from what it seems from the promos.
Yeah, I mean, what is up with pastors on recent reality TV shows like that go messy? I mean, Austin, you know.
Yeah. Pastor Jackass, whatever we call them. Yeah, the pastors are interesting, man. At least the one from the snake. He's an awesome person, but man, was that guy messy. But this will be interesting. Daniel's gonna be interesting, I'm sure. Hopefully he survives like an episode or two. I'd like to see the mess further on.
I need him to survive long enough for you to come up with a new pastor nickname for this pastor.
Yes.
You got Pastor Jackass. Who's this one going to be? Pastor Dumbass?
we will. Well, that was Kristen's nickname for him, so
okay.
we can't use that one.
Yeah, he upgraded in the middle of the.
He did upgrade.
No, I we always need a good flame out.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree.
Should be interesting. All right, and then last pick, Michael. You got Blanche. So
Is she French? Blanche.
No, I just
Blanche. I don't know.
Blanche.
That's just how I see the name. It's like
Blanche.
Blanche. But no, I mean, she's a mom, but she didn't really impress me. I think she comes off just like she's gonna rub some people the wrong way, just in my opinion. But I could be wrong. Again, she could make it farther than we realize. I guess I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, not who I'd preferably be left with. I think sticking needles in your face is a load of old hogswash personally, but hey, I'll take her. Come on board, Blanche.
Blanche. Yeah, she could be. I'm hoping she's not like fodder for the tribe she's on, because she's on the possible guns blazing tribe, and if they all just kind of want to be buddy on day 2 and they end up going to like tribal very quick, I could see that being the person that's targeted. But I mean, the mom archetype goes like far for some reason in Australian Survivor, so it could be a very big wild card for Michael.
Imagine talk all this shit and then here we are on the finale, and it's Blanche versus Pastor Dumbass.
I mean, I don't think that's happening.
King Pastor.
Anything's possible in Survivor. And apologies to the pastor. It's an inside joke. Don't worry about it. We're not actually mad at you.
Yeah, if you're listening, Daniel, don't worry about it.
Don't come for us.
All right. With that is our draft. So we'll have the draft teams in the comments, and we'll update that from week to week with where everything stands, like we did in Brains versus Brawn 2 and Australia versus the World. So
prepare for a slaughter.
Yeah.
I don't actually remember how I did in Australia versus the World.
You won.
I won.
You had Parvati. Yeah.
I won. I only remember my failures.
Yeah, I don't remember any of us doing like tragically bad in that from my memory. I think we all were pretty even throughout that, and then you just won.
I'm defending my title.
Yes.
Didn't we all have someone get pretty far? Because I had Sari. I know what did she get, 4th or?
Yeah, she got 4th. I had Luke.
I think we all had someone in front. Didn't we all have?
Yeah, you had
you
had Parvati and Janine, and then I had Luke and had Sari.
And then I had AJ. I think I had a few get pretty far on that one, and then I ended up having no one in the finale, which was funny.
Yeah.
It was like 4 people in the final 8 I had, or something crazy.
Yeah,
yes, crazy. I remember that.
Bam, missed one, bam.
Yeah, that's literally what happened to you. It was like you were in the lead the entire draft and then just got last out of all three of us.
Maybe my strategy's not that great, that I like to find the longevity players when they all do make it far, but then they die right before.
Yeah. Well, this has been great as always. We'll be here with weekly coverage. So it'll be us three. Pretty much always. We might have some guests here and there from international survivors. So we'll kind of keep you updated, and you'll get to see us talk all about everything that happens. So with that, we will see you all next time for more Australian Survivor Redemption on the Tribe of Nerds.